Welcome in, everyone. Thanks for coming in onto the show. We have on today our guest, Aaron. How are you, my friend?
I am fantastic. Thank you. I'm excited to be here. Thanks for inviting me.
For sure. It's been about 4 or 5 years or something like that since we've
Dude,
really seen
time
each other. So,
flies. We met was it Monty that we met?
yeah, the full Monty at
So
this little
four
theater.
years.
Yeah.
4 years. Dude, that's wild.
That whole, like, my whole time at that theater was just a strange kind of thing. Like, it was still COVID-ish, and I needed hours of internship for the schooling I just finished, and then that turned into a job. And it's a small theater, so you sometimes have a couple of big productions and then a whole lot of nothing, and you're like trying to figure out what are we doing, you know?
Yep, I know what you mean.
So I imagine people listening kind of get an idea of what your bag might be. But for those who don't know you, what's your spiel? What's like your elevator pitch of what makes Aaron Aaron as far as job, hobbies, whatever?
Oh man, Aaron is a hot mess. Aaron doesn't know who he is 9 times out of
We'll
10.
tell you right off the bat. Get ready.
No, I'm someone who really likes to live in the moment. I'm very creative focused, and it's been awesome. I mean, it's a huge blessing. It's led to some really cool opportunities, but then some interesting struggles and challenges as well. So, but yeah, I'm a dad of two. I've been married for almost 12 years. I have been struggling in this life, for 34 years. So, we're rocking along.
Well, at least it keeps going. That's the best part.
Never ends. No. Oh man.
So, as far as what you do outside of home, what kinds of things do you do? Like, I would assume, are you still an actor and such? You still get to do that?
I do, yeah.
Yeah.
So, yeah, okay. So, dude, again, I'm a hot mess. I do act. I do act. I love that. It's probably my most passionate form of working and creating. In fact, I just closed a show up here in Salt Lake. We did Jesus
Oh,
Christ Superstar,
okay.
which is one of my all-time favorite shows, written by Andrew Lloyd Webber. I think it's beautiful. I got to play Judas, which was a dream come true.
You
I
just
love Judas.
go.
Yeah, right? I love playing Judas. And that it was incredible. So I'm not acting as much right now. I'm more focused on my own creative endeavors, working with my partner, taking care of our kids, trying to trying to build some stability for us. It's
That's totally
been
valid.
yeah, it's I went hardcore into the theater, like trying to pursue it for a while. But I mean, I've gone in hardcore into almost everything trying to pursue it for a while, so we can get into that. But right now, I'm a team lead at a warehouse
Oh.
called Distribution. We sell drugs. I hate it. Um, but I have a job offer for a music teacher at a prep school here in the area, so I think I'm going to be doing that in a week. So I
Hey.
change gears very quickly.
What? Those aren't related? What do you mean? Factory, you do the same thing to the kids in the music class. You just like pop them in,
Exactly,
pop
right?
them out.
Right? So I feel like my whole life I've been trying to find what makes me happy, but also what supports my family. And that's been the hardest part is theater makes me incredibly happy. But I mean, I just did Superstar, and we started in January, we just closed, so a 3 month chunk, and I got $700. So it's like there's no money at this level.
For anyone wondering, that is a small number.
And it's pretty typical. So I
Because
think
it's
the
not like you're
most
spending
I've
an
been
hour a week and that's it.
no, dude, and it's so personal and so emotional. But I think the most I've been paid for a performance is probably $1,500, and that was when I was at the Hale. Like, if you're from Utah, you know the Hale name. It's the big theater name before you get into like the actual equity stuff. And yeah, I got 1,500 from them, but they pay per show as most theaters do. And so you're doing a shit ton of performances. I did
Get some
four
overtime in
performances a
there.
day sometimes. It was like, okay.
Jeez.
Yeah.
So I guess before we get into like all the other fun things you might endeavor yourself with, for those who are like keen on theater themselves, what are some pros and cons that you might say, or what might get you to either persuade someone in or out? Not that you necessarily would out, but like, hey, these are some things you want to think about because you've been doing theater for how many years ish now?
Ooh. I mean, so I started performing when I was in my teenage years, like junior high. But then seriously started pursuing it probably when we met around
Mm.
2020, 2021. I was like, all right, I'm going to give this a go. And so jumped into it for a few years. Pretty hardcore. I was doing probably 4 to 6 performances a year.
Mm.
It was nuts. It's a lot.
And did you have to do any kind of schooling to like do that leap board in, or did you just kind of one day go, you know what, I'm going to commit to this, and you just kind of did it?
Yep, I just kind of did it. So,
That's good
so
because some people might be worried about like, oh, so I gotta go to like a theater preparatory high school, or maybe I need to go to theater in college. I don't really know if I can commit all that much, but if you want to give it a go, it sounds like you can just kind of go give it a go.
you really can. It's a different field, and it is difficult to break in. It's very difficult to break in. And so that training and that expertise and that toolbox is really important. And so if you needed to learn that through a schooling program, then by all means that's the best way to do it. I didn't go through the schooling program, and so mine has been very, as much of my education has, I've pieced it together myself. It's like, oh, I like this author. Oh, I like this idea. Oh, I'll explore this road. And so I've just kind of pieced it together with other like textbooks that the people I speak to who have gone to school mention or recommend. But it's really more of like with acting in particular, I feel like it's more of the ability to be an observer and the ability to be present. Like when you're acting and someone has you up on a stage and they're like, all right, you're going to pretend to be making an omelet. And you haven't paid attention to every time you've actually made an omelet. You're going to get up there and you're going to miss some crucial steps. You know what I mean? You're going to be like, okay, omelet, frying pan, eggs, spatula. But when you're really doing it, there's a lot more micro adjustments and, do you know what I mean? And little fine tuning. And so
Yeah.
if you can be an observer in your everyday life, it's going to set you up a lot more, yeah, for more success in the acting field. I mean, just on its own, it's like, what do I do with my hands? You know what I mean? So,
That's a good thing to bring up because I think that's something that I think for a lot of people they may not really know how to describe what less than great acting is. Like when we're like watching any show or movie, you go, why do I not fully love this
mm,
moment, sort of thing? And it's the little tiny stuff that your subconscious wouldn't even think of. Like if it's the omelet example, like of cracking the egg and then you gotta whisk it up and then you might do that for a minute until you make sure it's good and then you gotta put that cup down and then do all these little tiny shit things in a sense that you wouldn't think because otherwise it just looks very forced of like, okay, egg in pan and exaggerate and you're like, no one moves like this, what am I doing?
right? Exactly. I feel like the other difficult thing with acting too is when you're acting, you have a director and they tell you what to do and where to go, and that's really helpful. But it becomes really robotic if it's like, okay, I just said my line, like, no, you can't, and that means I'm going to move from this side of the stage to the other side of the stage. And so a big piece of acting is finding that motivation, finding that emotional center within you to act out of a real space, if that makes any sense. Instead of like, now I walk, it's like, no, I am pulled here because like the person I love is also sitting in that corner, or there's, something dangerous. So I'm going to push away. You got to find that motivation. So yeah, observing and finding the emotional center of things. I think you're set. That's all you need.
Are there ways a person can do that? Is it more just practice, practice, practice? The more productions you do, you just kind of assuming that you do pay attention a little bit, it should improve you a bit along the way.
Yeah, I mean everything. Every opportunity you get gives like incremental improvement. And this was, I think, a huge blessing for me because we met in St. George, which small town. I mean, it's growing, but it's a small town.
Comparatively, yeah,
Yeah, it's
that's
it's
nothing.
a there was it's funny, right before I moved to St. George, I read a book by Malcolm Gladwell, David and Goliath, if you're familiar with it. He talks about how like little things taking out
Mm.
Goliaths, you know what I mean, and the science and the history behind that. And he talks about being it's better to be a big fish in a small pond than to be a little fish in a big pond, especially when you're getting started. And I think St. George was a good place for that for me. It was a small pond and I became a big fish. And I'm not trying to like gloat or like pat myself on the back, but it led to a lot of opportunities on stage to where I could explore these in a more like intimate way. You know, it's you get the experience, you get the exposure, you're able to find those motivations instead of just logically, like emotionally, like you feel it from the heart instead of just thinking about it. And so yeah, that's what I recommend. If you really want to get into acting, go be a big fish in a small pond first and get some chops and then then go for
And
it.
when you mean having opportunities to like experience the more emotional side, are you saying kind of more like better, quote unquote, better roles because you're not so much of being like tree number 4 or background citizen 3? You know, you actually have a name and you have a purpose to the production and you add to it, is what you're kind of getting at.
Sure. I mean, because there's no small parts in the show. I'm a genuine believer in that. But if you are a bigger fish and you have those bigger roles, it does give you more time on stage. I remember when I was a kid, my family and I, we would go boating, like slalom skiing all the time. It was my dad's side of the family, they love it. They would go slalom skiing in the middle of the winter. They're nuts. But I remember my grandpa talking to me one time. He's like, no, you got up, you got good. He's like, really, the only thing between where you are now and where you want to be is just the mileage. You just have to get the mileage. So just get behind the boat, get pulled, fall down, try it out. So yeah, those opportunities being a big fish, you get more mileage, you get more lines, you get more opportunities to dig into different aspects of a character. But that being said, I think it also helps if you come from only having small parts like tree number 3, because what I found is when I had a small part, like I only have 2 lines, or if I only have, a very, very limited thing, it's like, okay, I'm going to really find what this means. Why is this important? Why is it included? And so there's no, you get the good from both of it. You either get the mileage or you get the dedicated focus on, okay, why does this matter? And you can really hone in on that.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
You mentioned the big fish, small pond has led to opportunities. Are you alluding to things you've been able to be a part of now in what I presume is a bigger pond?
Oh yeah. I mean, so down in St. George, people were asking me to be in shows sometimes. Like I didn't have to audition. That was great. I loved it. Like, oh. Up here, bro, I went to my first callback at the Hill Sandy location, and I'm like, oh, okay. Oh my gosh.
This
I
is
don't know what I'm getting
stressful.
myself into. Yeah. Um, so it does lead to more opportunities, and it also gives that confidence. I'm a big proponent in like manifestation and positive affirmations and positive mindset, and just having that confidence, it's yours. So in St. George 3 years ago, we had a local director, and Jesus Christ Superstar was her favorite show. She was going to sell her theater, and before she sold like the controlling interest, she wanted to put on Superstar. And I went up to her and I auditioned as Judas and I got it and I was so happy and I loved it. And then when I come up here, it's a bigger pool. I just walked in with all the confidence in the world. It's like, I've done the part. I know this person. This is mine. Like, I'm sorry. I love all of you in this room, but I'm going to fucking take it. Sorry. And
Just go
so,
down there.
so it just builds that confidence of you, like you walk in and I don't know. I think that's paramount. I think you can do anything if you have that confidence.
Yeah, I like the. I never loved the phrase of fake it till you make it because it doesn't necessarily always feel like you're faking. You know, it's just kind of more or less of you're just convinced, like, yeah, it's going to work. And
Yeah.
yes, there's always going to be that back of your head, maybe that's like, well, what if it doesn't? You're like, well, ignore that. We'll worry about it if we get there. But for now, what if it does work?
Exactly. And like I think I'm in this point of it's like, you know what, I'll give it all and it's mine. And if it doesn't work out for me, it's because something better is right around the corner that I haven't seen yet. And so it's just like, cool, go all in and no expectations.
As far as like future plans, are there any hopes, desires, dreams, anything of like tomorrow or further on that you'd hope would happen with the world of theater?
You know, yes and no. It's not really something that I want to. have as my focus right now. So it's not the only reason I did Superstar is because I love Superstar. It came up and I was like, done. Yep, flag. This is it. Everything else is on hold. I'm doing that show. But before that, the show I did before that was Oliver,
Hmm.
like Oliver and Company, the orphan, and yeah, that was 3 years ago. So
Okay, a little gap.
maybe 2.5 years ago, if I'm let me think through. But there was a big chunk between those two, and I feel like that's just kind of my life, though. It's like I have different focuses and different priorities. Like, dude, I'm telling you, I've been all over the spec. I've gone to barber school. I've gone to marketing school. I've gone to real estate school. I'm like,
This
I have
resume is
tried.
growing, man.
Yeah, dude, I've just tried my hand at all these different things, and it's like I'm not happy here. I'm not happy here. So I pull the plug and I go completely AWOL.
Yeah,
Oh
I kind
man.
of get that of bouncing around a bit. Your side tracks are definitely welcomed here. You are not a weirdo.
No, thanks. Right now, honestly, I've gotten deeply into, and people are gonna be weird about this, but I've gotten deeply into like woo-woo stuff, like spirituality and crystals and tarot cards and
I like the way that you
stars.
phrased it. That helps bring anyone in. We call it woo woo right off the bat, and everyone's like, "That is woo woo."
Yeah, it's woo-woo. It's woo-woo stuff, and I understand that. I love it. But yeah, I'm deep into woo-woo stuff. So right now, my wife and I, Angie, we're working on a podcast of our own about Greek mythology. So we're telling some Greek
What's it
mythology
called?
stories. It's called Broken Gods. So
Oh, that's a fun title.
yeah, it's this idea that when I grew up, I don't know if we venture into this. I was very devout LDS, and my God was perfect, literally perfect, and it was really hard stacking up to perfect. You're always like, well, I'm not perfect, so I'll just do my best and we'll see what happens. And then I went through a big faith transition, and I've started looking at like Zeus and Aphrodite and Mercury or Hermes, and it's like, yeah, these guys have flaws. They are lustful, they are vengeful, like they're vindictive, like, but they teach some really powerful lessons. Do you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
if you look at the ways that Zeus is broken, you're like,
And he's still the top
interesting.
dog.
Interesting. Yeah, or if you look at the ways that Aphrodite gets toxic, you're like, Aphrodite is love and beauty. But then there's this story where she literally sends Cupid to have there's this beautiful girl and everyone's like worshiping this beautiful girl named Psyche, and Aphrodite's like, I hate this. Cupid, go make her fall in love with a pig. And
Go
so
mess her up. There can only be one
yeah.
pretty one.
So I think it's fascinating. So we've been diving into that. So that's been our main creative focus. But and then
And
my
that
wife's just like,
podcast is released and everything. Like it's
that one's
got some
not
episodes
released
out.
yet. That one
Oh,
we're still putting out. Our first podcast was called A Curious Couple,
ah,
and that one was all over the place. It was kind of like our trial and error.
gotcha.
And we did tell some mythology stories in there, and that's what most people resonated with. And we're
Hmm,
like, okay, cool. That's what I resonate with. So we started like fine tuning it down that road.
gotcha.
Yeah. But yeah, dude, I don't know. We're just all over the place. We are not traditional at all.
Well, at least you're smiling as you're saying it. It's not like, yeah, we kind of can't get our shit together. We're kind of, it's like we're exploring, we're enjoying, we're,
Yeah, I
figuring it
mean,
out every day.
it does get hard. I have not stacked up in the worldview of what success would be. Like, I do not have an impressive bank account. I do not have an impressive credit score. I'm living in a mobile home. Like, but but oh man, I know I'm taken care of. Like, and so that stress is gone. Do you know what I mean? I know
Hmm.
that everything is going to turn out the way it needs to, and it's cool. I almost see it as like a blessing now, because if I had gone all in and got the mortgage and got the big car, I would have been stuck at this job that I hated. Do you know what I mean? It wouldn't have given me the freedom to be like, oh, I hate this. I'm going to pull the plug and completely change industries just on the turn of a hat, instead of like,
Hmm.
oh shit, I need my paycheck or I'm going to lose my house. So I'm lucky that I'm not in that boat.
It's a really tough gig. I've known several people close to me, friends and whatever, that are so I'm going to use the word hung up. They might not like that word, but hung up on owning a home and having, what looks like a pretty nice life. You see it in media 1,000 million times. You see it in other people where it's like the wife, the kid, or the two spouses, and their how many kids, and their dogs, and they each got a car. They've got a house with enough garage space, front yard, backyard, looks pretty good, pool or trampoline. Like this whole just like stacking thing, and that's not very what's the word, sustainable anymore
No,
with the
no,
economy of
or
crap.
or even attainable.
Yeah, you can't even like. Do you want the trampoline? Okay, you can live under that at least. You can, like, got a kind of a semi rainproof roof, as long as you don't sleep in the middle.
Right? No,
But
it's true.
it's tough, and I can see how it taxes a lot of those people because they want to have this thing. Like if they don't reach the bar, then they feel like they're stuck in the mud and they're just this lowly thing. And you're like, why didn't you get it figured out? Or what are you doing? What's wrong with you? Why didn't you persevere? Why didn't you go to this job instead? And I like that, you phrase it as, we live in a mobile home and it's a home, it's not like, oh
Yep.
my, oh my God, Bryce brought on someone who lives in a mobile home on his podcast. How disgusting.
Right.
It's not like that. It's still a place to live. It's a cheaper spot. It can take care of what you need to. And if you
Yep.
have a good mindset of like, hey, this is where we're at, it doesn't have to be like this forever. Or even if it is, we can find ways to make it comfortable for us. Of like, if we need a little bit more space, maybe we get a second one and we put them together. Like,
Yeah,
whatever.
exactly. It really, finding that joy is, it's something, it's personal. And like you mentioned, like that list, it's like that American dream. Uh, I have a big part of my recent years has been deconstruction.
Mm,
I'm a big fan of deconstruction, just deconstructing the beliefs that you've held, like
gotcha.
analyzing them, like, do they have value? Do you really want that list? Or is that just the list that you've been told you should want since you were two?
Yeah.
And so deconstructing that, it's like, no, I don't want all that stuff. Like, I can think back to like 10 years ago. It's like, oh my gosh, yeah, I want the nice car. I want the nice phone. I need to have the nice clothes. Like, do you know what I mean? Like, I felt it. And now it's like, no, I literally don't care.
Yeah. It's either something like just enough time goes by and you go, well, I've gone this far. I don't think I really need it. Or you see what it would take from you. Like it can, like you're not going to just get it straight up most of the time. Some of us might have good jobs and it doesn't. It's like, oh, I can just get the car along the way because it doesn't affect me. Cool. Some of
Yeah.
us, it's going to take from something else. If I get the car, then maybe I can't eat nice for like a year or two. Like I can't go out to, maybe there's this nice restaurant I usually go to like once a month with some friends. Well, I can't do that now because it's car payment and whatever else. So there's got to be a plus and minus, and you got to decide what you really want to be the plus.
Exactly. Like, what is the priority for you? And for me, it's, I think my biggest struggle in discovering all of this, and why theater has probably been the thing that pulls me, or any creative endeavor pulls me. I just I want to put good out into the world. I don't want to be some delivery man for Amazon and do, like this job at McKesson. Like, I'm literally sending poison to people that think they need it, so because they can't be bothered to change their diet habits. I just it's like, I don't know. I really want to, I don't know. We want to do good. We want to make the world a better place, right? And that's not going to happen if we're all just stuck in dead end jobs that we hate. We're all miserable being there. I mean, this job at McKesson, it's like every single employee hates it. Like, every person in that building
Damn.
hates being there. Like, you feel it oozing from their pores. They hate it. And you spend 10 hours of your day every day in that place. It's like, what are you like? I don't know.
How are
It's
you
like
not
when you,
going to get affected by that?
yeah, you're just marinating in it. It's like,
That's a good phrase. Yeah. Like, get it off. I can't get it off.
yeah. And so it's this struggle. I don't know, but and then being deep into the astrology stuff now, it's like, I don't know, the whole world's gonna fall apart soon, anyways. Like, the
At least
system
you're
is
meant to be
done,
ready for it.
dude. I'm so here for it. But I don't know. I don't know. The world seems so broken in so many ways, but then so beautiful in so many ways. Like you see these people that are confronting childhood trauma, that are like taking accountability for their toxic behaviors and like really improving themselves and finding beauty and joy in every moment. And then at the same time, we have the literal chaos that you turn the news on to, and you're like, cool, we're living in the Gestapo Germany era right now. That's lovely. I'm so glad we're here.
Yeah, it's a strange like macro microcosm thing going on where it's tough to be uninformed citizen right now of especially
Yeah.
we'll speak mostly on America because that's where we are, and
Yeah.
that whole kit and caboodle, whatever
Right.
side you're on, no one, a lot of people, we'll say a lot of people. There's gonna be some who are on the boat ready to ride no matter what, but most people, whatever colors, banners, opinions, it's not pretty. There's a lot of crap going on, whether it's the money side, the social side. It's all just
Mm-hmm.
kind of hit a weird spot. And you have this weird conflict of like, I want to know what's going on so that I can like do something about it, hopefully, or like just be aware. But at
Yeah.
the same time, you're like, if I just put that away, I could see this other good stuff that's going on a smaller scale. Like people are getting fed up more, so they're trying to do this kind of organization, or they're trying to just, get out and talk to one another more, or whatever it is. And you can see that, but it's just, yeah, it's this whole like inner conflict thing of just
It
what's going
is.
on out there and what you want to have be out there.
Yeah, man, it's absolutely wild. I have such faith in it, but I don't know. It's always darkest before the dawn. That's all I keep telling myself. It is darkest before the dawn.
You don't know what level of dark is. Like you think, like when you turn off the lights in your room, you go, oh yeah, it's kind of dark. And then you go outside at night in the middle of nowhere, you go, oh no, this is pretty dark. And then you're in a cave, and you're like, how dark can it go? You
You're
wonder
like,
what darkest is,
we're
and
toast.
yeah.
No, for real. But I'm pretty optimistic about it. But I don't know. I don't know, man. I'm hopeful. The thing that makes me optimistic is if once you can boil down all of that conditioning of, sorry about that, my little cuckoo clock that doesn't even keep right time because it's
It
11:30.
just goes off.
Anyways, what I was saying is if you can look through and look past the differences, we're all the same. Like we everybody just wants to be happy. They want to take care of their families. They want to feel love. They want to feel safe. Like we all want the same things. And it's this lie that society has built for us to keep us fighting each other, and I think that's ending, and so I'm pretty optimistic about it. So I
Let's hope
think
so.
I'm pretty optimistic, but we'll see. So I think we all have to play our part though in doing it, in helping and bringing light and beauty into the world. So that's the goal.
Well, it's a good thing it's a small goal. It seems pretty attainable. It'll be easy. That's next week. What are you gonna do after that?
Right? But I mean, so for like my endeavor with this podcast, like we want to tell the stories, but then I also myth is really powerful. Myth. There's an author. His name is Joseph Campbell. He's the one who's credited with coming up or discovering the hero's journey. That whole storytelling arc of the hero meets the challenge, goes on a quest, and becomes a hero. So he kind of found that hero's journey formula by looking through all these ancient mythologies of different cultures. He says that mythology is the collective human unconscious. And so it tells this story about how we all are struggling and trying to find peace and beauty and love, and that these different gods or different heroes are just archetypes, different archetypal elements within us. And so if we can take these mythological stories and learn lessons from them, like bro, we're all gonna power up and level up and just go fucking Super Saiyan. Like
I could do that. The golden hair is mine.
so that's my focus right now, but we'll see what happens. We'll see what comes of it.
Well, from one podcaster to another, hopefully that goes well.
Thanks, man. Thanks, man. It's fun. It's fun to talk to people and share ideas. And my wife and I are both Geminis, and so we're ruled by Mercury, and so we like to talk. So.
Hey, I understand that. I'm not of that banner, but I doing this podcast, it's been fun to bring on people, some that I've talked to all the time, others years go by and we bring them on and you just get to either learn about a story you didn't know of like, oh, I didn't know you did that in college, or I didn't know that you cared about your joy or whatever, dumb little things, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
It's fun just to, if for my own selfish reasons, it's fun to know these people.
It's so cool and to connect on like such a human level. So, yeah.
Yeah, to make everything, it's especially with, a lot of my experience has been more of the stereotypical college of like, you did high school, then you do college and did college again, whatever else, you get that whole rigmarole. And there's like a status to it or puff and stuff of, oh, this is how I need to be, this is how I should be, this is how it's going to go. And there's a lot of expectations and desires and such. And once you get to talking to enough people, you realize we were all kind of the same of like, I just wanted stuff to work. Sometimes it did, sometimes it didn't. And there just happened to be a university that had its board of directors that made it seem like, oh, we do all this kind of stuff. You go, yeah, but I didn't, like I didn't, or maybe I did. Maybe I did go somewhere, but that wasn't
Yeah.
because necessarily of them. It was because of what I wanted to do and what I got done. So it's fun to break everything down and be like, oh, person? Yeah, person.
Actual human, cool.
Yeah, me
We can
too.
relate. No, that is awesome. And yeah, I mean I did college twice. I went to LDS Business College and I went to Dixie before it went to Utah Tech. So yeah, I did marketing down there and then I just did accounting and business generals at the LDS Business College. And I don't know, man. Like I think I didn't ever graduate because I was just so disenchanted by it all. Just like I
It's not the most inspiring stuff most of the time.
yeah, like I really liked learning my specialty stuff. You know what I mean? Like I was there for marketing and I loved learning about the marketing. I love learning about psychology. I love learning about how the brain works. But then you go to like other classes and you're like, I just don't care. Like this is so silly. So it never really prioritized for me. So maybe I'd look at it again. I don't know if it's necessary. My struggle right now is I'll like go and apply for jobs and they'll be like, well, you don't have a degree, so we're gonna pay you less. And I'm like, no.
I'd rather you didn't do that, please.
I feel like, tell me the value of your degree and I'll tell you that I have can match that or like,
I can do it, I swear.
add to it. Like, I don't know. So it's just the system and these games and these hoops that we all have to jump through so that we qualify or so that we feel I don't know, man. I'm so disenchanted. Like but like we haven't gone halfway down my woo woo weirdness, dude. Like I'm doing rituals and spells and like
Oh, that's
I did
not a degree, that does it.
no, not at all. I did a full like an eclipse, a full moon eclipse spell last night. We had our eclipse in Aries for the last time last night. Like we got some good stuff happening.
Good. Whatever that entails, yay.
Exactly. Exactly. But so yeah, I don't know, man. I don't know if it's necessary. So you just we'll find out. We'll find out what happens, right?
Until someone says for sure you have to, and then you're like, okay, maybe I will.
Yeah, I think I have a rebellious nature too. I buck against things. It's like, you got to do it this way. And it's like, no, I'm going to do it my way.
I feel like I could do this one other way minimum at least.
Yeah. There's this, there's this, I don't know what it's even called. A self-realization tool is what I will call it. It's called human design. And so it's kind of like a personality test, but it takes it off of your birth chart. So you give it your birthday, your time, and your location, and it creates a body graph for you. Anyways, what I learned from mine is I'm the kind of person, if someone tells me, hey, don't touch the stove, it's hot, I'm the kind of person that has to fucking touch the stove before I learn that it's hot. Like, that's just, some people can be like, hey, don't do that, it's gonna fall apart. I'm like, will it? And then it falls apart. I'm like, yes, I guess it does.
Now I know, okay.
Yeah, so I have to try it. Like, if I, yeah.
That reminds me of a time, and if any of my couple buddies are listening, they'll remember this story. So we're in my car, we're like 17-ish years old, whatever, and we're driving in some like back dirt area in southern Utah, whatever. And it's
Okay.
just dirt. And I'm driving in this Impala, which is just like a four-door sedan type. Like, don't be off-roading in this thing. But here we are. And we
Your
get to
kids.
like, you can't, I can drive with it. It's fine. I have Firestone tires. And it gets to like this wash part, and there's like these two divots where like the river carved it out, whatever. And in my head, I'm like, I should drive in those divots so I don't have to worry about like falling into it. Because it was like a foot drop. And they're like, no, dummy, drive on the top part so that you're not in the thing, whatever. I'm like, fuck it. And then, and I'm like, okay, so don't drive in the divots. Now I know for real. I just,
Now I've learned. I
it's
know what happened.
internalized.
Yeah, dude,
And
just like that.
and since then, I haven't driven into divot sets.
Exactly. You learn the lesson
Real
deeply
learning.
when you learn it yourself.
I may have messed up my alignment on my car, but hey, it was worth it.
Who's to say?
It's an old
It's an
car at that point.
Impala.
Yeah. It's in the past. I don't even know where it's at anymore.
No, exactly. And so that's definitely been more my style of things, which has maybe led to some slower starts. But again, I think it's given me that opportunity of self-discovery versus just starting and just going. When I first got home from, I served a mission in the Philippines. That's what I did right out of high school. And so right after I got home from that mission, my dad was the CEO at Amsco Windows. He still is. And he gave me the job of accounts receivable clerk.
Okay.
Accounts receivable is the one who they get they get the check or the ledger that says we paid you 500, and then I would go in and like pay off what they paid, and then if they
Oh,
don't pay, I would be the one like, hey, pay your bill. And
oh,
so that's
okay.
what I was doing right after my mission. And I remember I was at LDS Business College, and one day I was told yeah, you just got to get through school because you already have the job. Like this is the job that you go to school for. Like everybody that you're at school with, once they graduate, they're gonna try and get this job. And I'm like, this is the job? Like
This is it.
I'm fucking miserable. Like like I would literally go home and just sit in a dark room like moping. And my partner would be like, hey Aaron, you okay? And I'd be like, uh-huh. I just don't want to go to work tomorrow. And she's like, I think you're depressed.
Oh.
Anyways. um, so it was like, well, if this is the job that school leads to, then A, I don't want this job. B, I don't want school. And so it kind of like derailed me.
No,
So
that's a good point. That's it's the yay dad on giving you that exposure too, because it
exactly.
would
It
have
was like,
been
cool, I don't want it.
it'd be shittier to like have gone through the college and then you get to this job and you're like, it all led up to this,
Yeah,
of
exactly.
like, I don't know what I was
Exactly.
expecting, but this is not the jam.
Yeah, no, no. And then you'd also have like the student debt on top of it. And
Yeah, no one ever remembers that part.
no one. But yeah, so it's been exciting. It's been challenging, but I feel like I'm definitely more of a find my own path type of way. So in the future, I don't want a job. I just want to be bringing value to the world. But I'm a dreamer, so we'll see.
It starts with a dream. It can't come
Starts
from
with a
nothing.
dream, dude. Big ambitions, little resources.
Well, maybe you'll make a bunch of money as a music teacher. They're famously well endowed financially.
Famously well paid.
All
No, but I
teachers.
mean that was part of like my transition too. Is like I chased money for the first little bit of my career because money equaled freedom, and what I wanted was freedom. And so I would just, and that's why I was like, oh, real estate, sales, like this, that. So I've sold everything under the sun. And chasing money it sucks, dude. It absolutely sucks. And then it's like, cool, I'll just not chase it. I'll do what I can and everything will work out.
Do you say it sucks? Because I know some people, they might be listening like, oh, I love to just go through the grind and chase, chase, chase. Is what, in your opinion, makes it such a drag, for lack of words?
Yeah. Um, for me, I didn't get any fulfillment from it, man. Like, okay, so in real estate, it's entrepreneurial, right? So you have to you're your own boss. You're doing you rise or fall on your own, right? And so there's a lot of mind work training that real estate industries will offer. And I forgot even what I was going to say. Ask me your question again.
What was it specifically about chasing money, quote
That's it.
unquote, that makes
Okay,
it? It
okay.
seems like a drag.
Yeah, yeah. So yeah, just chasing money, it's just I just wasn't fulfilled, man. I just wasn't fulfilled. I just wanted that freedom so bad that I couldn't I couldn't sacrifice myself to being some pawn at a corporation. I just I don't know, man. I just can't I can't give myself up to something I don't fully believe in. And I don't believe in capitalism at all. so, so like any any overtly I'm gonna make lots of money off of you. I just think it's wrong at this point. I don't know, man. It's like the reason we're in such an ugly mess right now is because everybody thinks there's not enough. Like everybody has a scarcity mindset, and so they're all trying to take as much as they can. You know what I mean? There is more than enough food on the planet right now to end world hunger like that. But it's all blocked behind paywalls and gatekeepers that don't want to give it away because they need their money. But then you go work at a restaurant, which I've done, and you see all the food that they just throw, like dumpsters of food. And you're just like, wow. Do you know what I mean? So it's
Mm-hmm.
like, I don't know. I don't know. My parents are extremely capitalistic, and I see the value in competition and in trying to make things better and purging the imperfections. But no, no, dude, like holding things over people, and I'm not about it. Getting into the crazy astrology stuff, we've entered a new phase where it's the time in Bug's life where all the ants go, "You're afraid of us." And you don't want us to know that. That's the time, astrologically speaking, that's what's happening right now. In fact, the transition happened just around the time that CEO got pew-pewed by that Super Mario character. It's do you know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
there's there's a transition that's happening on the collective basis where we're like, no, these structures and
No
systems,
more.
no, they're designed to oppress us. And getting woo again, dude, I can't separate from it. I believe that we're all pieces of God, however you want to take that. We all have divinity within us. The people that are controlling us know that too. And so they harness our divinity to prop
Mm.
themselves up. And it's like, no, guys, no more. It's the moment in Bug's life where us ants wake up and we get rid of those fucking grasshoppers once and for all. like,
Wouldn't that be
uh,
nice?
yeah, well, specifically what happened, Pluto, which is Hades, the god of the underworld, he entered the sign of Aquarius, which is the collective, which is rebellion, which is transformation. The last time Pluto was in Aquarius was the American Revolution and the French Revolution. And then we also have Neptune that just moved into Aries. The last time Neptune was in Aries was the American Civil War. So we have all of these placements of tension of, the collective versus the elite. And I don't know, man. Things are changing quick soon, is my prediction.
Historians get ready to start writing stuff down.
Really though, I mean, and we've seen it since January. Things have escalated and sped up. Um, I'll tell one more mythology story because I love these. But a lot of times, what you see when this starts to happen, you see the writing on the walls, and so the systems that are in power, they try and hold on to it. You know what I mean? They get a firmer grip. And so they say, no protesting. We're going to arrest everybody. And they really start hammering down to keep that control. And it might work for a minute, but it leads to their own destruction. And in mythology, we have Kronos, who is the god of time. He is cursed by his own father that he will be killed by his children. And so, in an effort to not be killed by his children, the second they are born, he swallows them, he devours them. And so, he eats five of his six children, but the last child is Zeus. And he's tricked and swallows a stone, and Zeus comes up in hiding and then avenges his siblings, and he gets them out. And that's where Poseidon and Hades and all the Olympians come from. But yeah, that's what's happening is we have this Kronos, this, and they're gonna hammer us and they're gonna start swallowing us whole. But we'll break it, bro. Like,
All you Zeuses out there, get ready.
yes, get ready for it. Anyways, you didn't know. You're like, we're gonna talk about theater, and I'm like, let's talk about spiritual.
There's the whole world of theater. We got a lot of stuff on display here.
Right. So, anyways, I have a lot of optimism for the future, but we'll see what happens.
Yeah, it's gonna be a story to tell. No matter what happens, it's not gonna be just bland of just like, oh, it all just kind of fizzled. It's probably not gonna be
Right.
that.
But yeah, great suffering leads to great change. In the spiritual teachings of stuff, that's what suffering is for. You suffer until you finally wake up, until you're finally like,
Till it's over.
oh,
Yay!
oh, I've done this to myself.
Kind of love those revelations. I'm like, yeah, cool.
Right.
Thanks, me.
But yeah, that's what we've got. We're crazy, we're psycho, we're also homeschooling our kids, I don't even know, man. We're all over the place. But yeah, life is fun and exciting. And the
Good.
days are never the same.
And I'm glad that you seem to at least revel in it a bit to where it doesn't seem like it's total chaos and you're just like getting flung around and you're drowning in the pool. You got your floaties on and you're like, all right.
I mean, there's some moments of drowning, but
A little waterboarding, it just makes you stronger.
you deal and then you figure it out and you start swimming again. Oh man.
I hit every guest with the same two questions, at least so
Okay.
far I have. Well, one's big question. The second one's just kind of like, whatever, you'll see. You get to have one redo to your life from high school to today, whether it's something gigantic, like you would have stayed with the financial accounting hoopla thing, rose to those ranks, blah, blah, blah. Maybe it would have been small and that you would have liked to wear the color red more often because that made you feel good. Whatever. If you were given a redo of any size, would you take it and what would it be?
Whew. I don't think I would take it. As tempting as it sounds, and as much as I feel like I'd want to, I've gotten to a point where I'm here, where I am today, because of what's happened behind me. The good, the bad, the ugly. I mean, I've got some pretty ugly in my past, like some pretty ugly, but it's shaped me into who I am. And so, yeah, I'd like to dream about going back and changing things. Honestly, if I could go back and change one thing, it would just be self-discovery. Just, what do I want? Who am I? Like, I never really asked myself those questions. I was raised in such a framework where it was like, you go to school, you go on your mission, you get home, you go to school again, and you get married, and you know what I mean? It's like, here's the path. And I trudged that path until 2020. I kind of like bucked. I tried to find my own way in it because I didn't want to be behind a desk. And, like I had some qualifications, but I didn't know who I was or what I wanted or what I could offer to the world. It felt like everything that I saw in myself was a flaw or something broken. I just saw myself as fundamentally not right. And so I think changing that sooner that would be the biggest thing I would change. But I don't know how you could change that sooner.
We're working on that. It's a new science.
Right? But yeah, so that's what I would change is just self-discovery. Just ask yourself who you are sooner if you really want to do what you're doing.
I'm glad you say that. That's a very important thing for, I think a lot of people, well, I don't know about how many, but I think a good chunk of people get similarly stuck in kind of the river of things, whether they're in high school and they are getting told that they got to go to college, or they have family business or lineage that tells them they're going to go on a certain track, whatever it may be. At some point, you're probably going to just be sitting there like, okay, I'm just kind of like doing stuff with no real idea of, is that what I want to do? Why am I doing it? Am I comfortable with this? You know, some
Yeah,
people they're totally fine with like, only just because I brought it up with like the family business, for example. Like, you know what? I support my family. That's what I value. If what we do is shoemaking, grocery stores, or Pizza Hut, then that's what we do. And
perfect.
I don't care. You know, it's like I'm taking
Yeah,
care of family, and that's my jam. And that's the part that's important, is finding out what that thing is for you. And it could be a couple things. Like if it's family, maybe you just really care about having money. You know, whatever.
sure.
If that's your thing, great. Or you like to be outside, or you like to not see another human being at all in your day to day, whatever, grand scheme of things. Figure out, try to take the time, talk to people, do research, find out what's the things that you want, so that when you go looking into opportunities for education or career, you know that you have this thing in mind always, of like, okay, I care about this. I'm going to make sure I take care of that always.
I love it because honestly, you can find a career in anything. And I mean, I didn't believe that. Do you know what I mean? Like, because like growing up in that very rigid formula, I did. I was doing theater. I started doing theater in junior high. And I loved it, and my family knew I loved it, and it was awesome. Yeah, but I was always discouraged out of pursuing that as a career. It was like, no, 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 no. You have to go to school. You go get a good job. You make the money, and then when you're older, then you can go back to it. And I'm like, okay. And I mean, not to I'm very grateful for my parents, but my dad did do that. Like my father he was a very good professional street bike racer. He
Oh.
loved it. He loved it. He was winning competitions, and he absolutely loved it. And then one day we would even go and watch him do his races. Like we would like drive, and he'd run by, and we'd all wave to dad. Um, One day he gave it up, and he never went back to it, and it was gone. And now that's used as an example of like, well, look at your dad. He loved racing bikes. He was so good at it. But you and your siblings were more important, and the being a provider was more important, and that mattered more. So you have to give up your dreams, and you have to make the money. And that was like, that was the message that was kind of put into you. And so it was like, okay, the best you can do is maybe find something that you kind of like. But looking at it now, it's like, no, dude, like if you really want to go for it, like you could the world is yours. Like you only limit yourself.
You don't have to wait until you're 55, 65, 75 when you retire, and then you have time and money and you can go do whatever you want. And at that point, 50 years have gone by. Do you still like the thing? Are you even any good at the thing? Do you want to
Right.
learn the thing? All kinds of crap.
Are you still alive after being,
Even alive, yeah.
working in unsafe warehouses for 40 years,
Keep that
or
hard hat on.
handling toxic chemicals that weren't properly regulated because some corporation? Anyways, I digress.
Just take your allergy pill. It's all right. You'll get through it.
I need to go smoke.
I got to decompress after this. I'm already uppity.
Gotta take the edge off. Oh man.
For the final thing of this episode, what I do for every guest is I turn time over to them, and I get to say one of my favorite words as of late: unfettered. I'm not asking any questions. I'm not prompting you in any way besides saying you get to have 30 seconds or 30 minutes to be inspiring, funny, tell a story you wish I pulled out of you during all the other talks, but I just didn't. Or even just to say thank you, everyone, goodbye. If you have anything to say, what is that?
Now's
Your
the
time is
chance.
now.
I don't know, man. I feel like I just kind of took free reign where I wanted to.
Good.
Sorry.
That's why. No, that's why I hope that I provide that kind of space, and not that I'm sitting here like, we have a regimen here. I have a script. Did you read the script? You haven't read the script, Aaron. The script. The script. You know what a script is, you theater man.
I know, right? Oh man. No, I think my biggest thing is the world would be so much better if we all did what brought us joy and happiness and love versus what we felt like we had to do because of what we were expected. I feel like that expectation and that that culturing. It's weight, man. I don't know. Every person in that warehouse I work at hates it, dude. Every single one of them. If they could, not a single person would go back to work tomorrow. I'm not even kidding. No one wants to be there. They're there because they feel that they need to be there in order to survive. And my hope is that as a people, we can move out of survival state and more into like a creative state. But that's going to take some fundamental changes.
We're a couple steps away, but that's a nice thing to be stepping towards.
Right, but Pluto's an Aquarius, man. Let it burn.
Everyone, look out! Put your fire extinguishers up. Keep them by you.
I'm so ready for it. My mom's like, no, you don't want revolution because it just brings violence. I'm like, no, I don't want revolution. I want like a Martin Luther King or like a Mahatma Gandhi. That's what we need. So somebody, if you're listening and you're that person that's being called, we need you.
We summon thee. You may start.
Let's,
You may go. Go
let's
ahead.
get it going. We need some Gandhi, MLK energy to change the world fundamentally.
We're rooting for you. Good luck, bud.
No, Bryce, I appreciate you. Thanks.
For sure. Thanks for
having me
coming on to
I'm-
the show. This has been a fun time.
Hopefully there's some value in it with my crazy sporadic life, but
I'm sure people will find it entertaining in the least.
at least that.
Thanks
All right,
again
well,
for being on.
you, man.
And thank you everyone for listening to the show. We'll be back again sometime. Have a good one until then. Bye for now.